Good morning, Wednesday Wisdom here. It's Elizabeth Eleanor, and we have the beautiful Stephanie Pinto here. And good morning, Stephanie. How are you?
Morning, I'm good. How are you?
Good, a little bit chilly. And today is our very first Wednesday Wisdom where we're talking to one of the clients that are in our Conscious Creator Mastermind. And I was just sharing with Stephanie that my business advisor has been hearing some of the results that are in the background in my course and some of my clients. And she's like, you don't share enough with the public about what's going on and the results that you guys are getting. So she suggested that, I may be a bit humble about the whole process. So she suggested that we get in here and start sharing some of the results that people are getting. Because, you know, our mission here in Women of Light is to wake women up to their divine wisdom, right? And so that's what we're here to do, is to support you in shining your light and living to your highest potential. So Stephanie's our first client to be sharing this, and my cat is 16 and thinks she's 2 at the moment. So she's having a bit of a crazy walk, race around the house. Very youthful. So if you hear some crazy stuff in the background, it's just a cat. So Steph, tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do before we jump into the nitty-gritty of it.
Okay. So I am a parent coach, and so the way in which I work with parents is through emotional intelligence. So helping them to understand their kids and their own emotions, and dealing with kids' challenging behaviors and that clash and that stress. So that's the main big part of what I do in my work. I also am a pediatric anxiety therapist for kids because of my background with anxiety. And so there's always a story. And I have 2 kids, Arthur and Eve. They're 5 and 8, and then a husband, and we're here in Sydney. And yes, I've known you for a few years now. I feel like it must be 3. Maybe. Yeah. So, and just always felt pulled, love and your smile and your laugh and your raw, real authenticness, and just knew that you had something special to share with people. And I thought, oh, yes, maybe I could see what that is.
That's so beautiful. And so, I know that you've had challenges with anxiety yourself. You just sort of touched on that a little bit. So that's sort of where you started with your, moving into the pediatric anxiety aspect of it, right?
Yeah. That before I did what I do now, before I met you, I was a speech pathologist for 10 years, and I was very comfortably an employee and did my 9 to 5, and thought that was what life was. Had my 2 kids, I did my work, I came home, and I was actually one of the most longest sort of serving, I guess, therapists on my team in Western Sydney. But I never went for the manager position. That wasn't me, not who I am. I'm not that, I'm this. So I was very much, this is my life. It's ordinary. I do my stuff. I'm a good girl. I'm a people pleaser. I don't rock the boat. I never ask for anything more. What I have is enough. I don't need to be greedy. And so that really limited me, because there's nowhere to go when you don't have any vision of what else you could be. Like, I couldn't fathom that things could be any different. I just would say, you should go for that manager position. It's come up. I'm like, no. That's not, and people would say, start your own speech pathology practice. No, that's people who own their business. I'm not one of those.
I'm just me. Yeah. And so what shifted? Because that shifted before you met me, right?
Yeah, a little bit it shifted. So my husband started his own business, and so I saw a little bit of the possibility of like how it was doable. I supported him with that. And then I obviously went to the same business coaching workshop and mastermind sort of thing that you did. So that also sort of just further cracked open that there were other people like me doing similar things, and they were seemingly
ordinary people. Yeah, normal and yeah. Yeah. And so tell us where you went from there. So basically, how long have we worked together? Did you?
About 1 year, or just under 1 year now. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So Conscious Creator was the first thing that you jumped into?
Yeah, I think we had some. Oh no, sorry, I did the Awaken the Lioness. Sorry,
that's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I had a feeling you did something prior. Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
I thought, what was it? Yeah. So
and we did do some sessions prior to that, or maybe around that time. Yeah.
So, and that was awesome. That was something I had never stepped into, looked into, thought about, like, just, what more there is than the skin and bones of me. I was not and am not particularly religious, even though we were raised as Anglican, and that never really clicked with me. And the rest of my family, really, we stopped going to church and things like that. Anyway, so I felt unconsciously, I felt very like, oh, alone, like this is it. There's nothing else. Like people who have spirituality, which now I am that person, have something. It's really hard to describe, hard to put words to that feeling of like being held or safe, or there's more there, rather than just,
there's a connection somehow to something outside of themselves. Yeah.
I think that started with Awaken the Lioness. And then my confidence was bit by bit inching up and growing. It was still very, very hard for me to find my voice in lots of different contexts. And I found it difficult to disagree with anyone, because I was by nature a people pleaser and very agreeable, and the anxiety that came with saying, no, I don't want to see that movie, or I'd like to go to this restaurant actually, or actually there's a line here at Gloria Jean's, couldn't do that. Fear of what people might say or do. So so that was way too scary for me then.
Yeah. Now, so you joined Conscious Creator, and how did you? I know just from your comments, through the process, and even at the very start, you were like, I remember some of your "oh wow" comments, And so for someone that doesn't know what Conscious Creator Mastermind is, how would you, as a client, as a member of that course, how would you describe it?
Oh, that's a really good question.
I know, I just thought of it.
The word like container comes to mind, where we are held by you, but like with you, and not like led, but guided and taught. Like you're teaching us stuff that, man, a lot of us never learned, weren't taught, our parents didn't know, isn't spoken about in, especially, our culture and mainstream media, and just this whole other realm, and this whole other world, and this whole other energy and space that we have access to, and that's all within and around us, and that we can shift and adjust and utilize, and just that word container comes to mind, because we're obviously held and supported and guided by you, and we all know each other and friended each other and support each other, even though we have different goals, right? So mine are a set of aim goals or things I want to see change or improve or achieve, but it doesn't matter, because the underlying foundational stuff that you're teaching us with recoding, being in the Conscious Creator, that can create anything.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Wow.
And so it doesn't matter if you're all on different stages and paths, it's all that as you said, that container supports everyone to move forward at their own pace. Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter where you live, thanks to the internet. It doesn't matter if you're starting out with a business, or if you have no business and you have a job, or you don't have a job and you want to see change in your personal life, how you feel, and your confidence, or your being the person that you want to be, and the people around you, and the relationships. There's clashes and stress and like any of that stuff. It's almost like there's no limit.
Yeah, absolutely. And so from that point, like, where were you when you started CC, and where are you now?
Well, when I began, I was still finding, like, personally, separate to business, I realize, because of where I am now, it was impossible for me to speak my truth and ask for what I wanted and say, I don't want to do that, or that's not right for me. Like, just to feel like I could stand in my feet, in my body, and say yes or no, or make a decision, and even know before I said, even just knowing that inner voice and that
so
wisdom, I was like,
right?
That's not there.
So important, because the subconscious takes over first and goes into the patterns of behavior that from previous, right? And this is what kept me alive, so this is what I say. So before you can consciously even go, this is what my choice is, it's taken over, and afterwards you might go, oh, I really didn't want to do that, or whatever, but it's internal, and you don't share it with anyone.
I just had this thing drop in, knowing, like, the feeling of what did you just say? That knowing that I had a choice, I think. And that was just me. That was just who I am. This is just the way things are. You know, it's so, we cage ourselves. I was very caged, and this is my life, and this is who I am. And I can never be that or anything different, because that's for those people, not me. So anyway, very, still not very confident. My business was growing, but just personally, it's hard to have hard conversations. It's hard to tell the truth. It's hard to, all of that really deep underneath stuff. Like you said, I was very surface level, very here in the conscious kind of place, and missing out on a lot. Now I realize, because of now what I have and the choices I can make and what I have access to, in a way, which was always there, but I didn't know. And so I was closing off to, I think we don't realize how much is out there.
Don't allow ourselves to live freedom, because it's an internal choice, right? But we don't think it's an internal choice, because the subconscious gives us messages to say, if you do that, I'll die. Like, not that it says it in those words, but it's that's intolerant. Scary. That's yeah.
So things like disagreeing with my husband, or saying, you shouldn't tell the kids off like that, or I don't want to, can you help me do this? Oh, I really don't want to, I don't have time. And I would say yes. Like, clashing, and it wasn't outward. We weren't a big argument, shouting, because that's not me. Again, like, I would squash that down. I would find excuses. I'm a nice person, I don't rock the boat, I'm very giving and empathetic, and I'm very tolerant and patient. Actually, no, I wasn't able to say that's not okay by me, or I don't want to, or I don't have time. So if I was the one, he was probably very happy. He's very happy. Guys are happy.
But we're very compliant.
So, but then he would pick up on my energy when I was critical or off, or probably a bit snappy or rude or blunt. And I was trying to, I thought I was pushing it down, but I wasn't. Anyway, So that was just, we were, you know, mismatching, which is stressful in itself. And I like,
and painful, right?
Hmm.
It's painful. It's not a really nice life to live.
Yeah.
You know, the heart is aching, and you know, you feel suppressed, and yeah, it's not a nice place, not a nice feeling.
Yeah. And I would get, I still get a little bit anxious, but I really had that negative, anxious mindset generally. So I was very safe with my choices and my decisions and what I did. And so my business was growing a little bit. So my Facebook group is where I spend a lot of my time putting content out. And in the last year, since I started Conscious Creator, I think it must have been around, I want to say maybe 10,000, 7 to 10,000, I feel like, because there was a bit of a jump around then when, strangely enough, a huge name, one of the top kind of 3 biggest names in the parenting world and parenting and education, Janet Lansbury, shared one of my posts and linked my group. And so we got this flood of like a few thousand people, 6,000, 7,000, 8,000 people. And since I guess August or so, when I joined Conscious Creator last year, now, like at last look, it's about 33,000 parents.
Yeah, wow.
So that has just continued to explode and grow. And I can see where people have joined and things like that. We put questions in the when people apply to join the group. Approve. Yeah. And they are from all over the world, and they are educators, and they are speakers, international speakers and authors, and there's a lot of people who are from everywhere who are joining. They obviously want to hear. I always say, like, it's not about me, it's about they want to hear and they want to read and they want to look at this content, and they want that to be shown to them every day because it's important to them. So it's more about the work, not about me, but still.
Well, the whole thing is, you know, like, and that's, you know, just one of the things I teach in Conscious Creator is that success is not personal, it's structural. And so, you know, you've created an amazing structure there, and you're really good at social media and, you know, adding content and giving out lots of free resources and all that sort of stuff. So, you know, like you've created a structure that is outside of you, like, and you know, holds the container for your clients, right?
Yeah. And my amazing assistant Karen is a huge reason for that as well. I have to mention her. We've been together for 2 years now, so she's absolutely, like, I couldn't have done this without her. She's helped reach all these people. She's helped me with my programs. I remember we spoke a little bit about the fact that when I started, I was charging a certain amount, you know, everyone said, increase your prices, it's too low. Like, for a 10-week, you know, deep dive, people, I say, I'm in your back pocket, message me and I support you. Like, it's not just, I'll see you once a week and there's 10 hours of my time kind of thing. It's not that. And so since I have started now, the price has more than doubled. And that's not to say it's ridiculous. It's still, I know, I was always scared to do that. And I thought, no, but what if people don't go for it? But what if no one wants to jump in? What if people say that's a lot of money? That stuff as well.
Yeah.
That was stopping me from increasing my prices. And so yeah, in that sort of business area, that increased. Yeah.
And I know that one of the things that has happened for you through CC, so is not only being able to you know, call in, because you've had some really high ticket sort of people come in and be part, you know, be influencers and in your group, you know, like, it's and that's what happens when you start creating, right? You start these things that you think are outside of yourself.
Yeah.
and it's bizarre, but it's actually because we're part of a field. And so, you know, when we let our subconscious like release the resistance, it gives us more, you know, we sit in the river and the flow, and, you know, those things start happening. But one of the things that I remember you saying was that you messaged me. Are you okay to share? Yeah, go for it. I'll let you say it. So, yeah, so just since you've been working with CC, that your income has.
Yes. And I didn't really necessarily, did I? Like I knew my goals were around growing my business, having it be able to support my family, which is doubly helpful now because my husband's business is still very damaged.
COVID affected. Yeah.
And to be in the space where I am speaking with big names like experts, and they are lending me their time and we're sharing their knowledge and stuff. And just this morning at 6:30, I was speaking to Alfie Cohn, who is another huge name in the education and parenting space. You know, he's written 15, 20 books since the 80s, like massive. I've got a few of his books and things. And now, like you said, I'm in that river, I'm in that space. It's no longer outside up there where the people are. I'm in that space. I'm kind of one of them.
Yeah. And keep going.
Yeah.
Tell what you just discovered.
What did I just discover?
Remember your message when you went, oh my God, I'm 6 figures now.
Oh, yeah. So coming to a conclusion is that along with all of the increases or the expansions, I want to say, now my business has steadily doubled each year for the past 3 years. It was obviously a very small jump, but then we doubled. We doubled this year. So I've hit 6 figures.
Yeah.
Which is like mind blowing to me, because I don't know why that is, because I'm still, you know, the ebb and the flow, or the what do you call it? The oscillating.
The oscillating patterns.
You know, oscillating patterns. So I still go, oh my God, and then I'm like, no. This is here to stay. I'm here.
Yeah. And remember without going into CC too much, but the creative code of the Fibonacci sequence, right? So that it's not linear. It's something that escalates.
Yeah. And just the fact that things, like you said, it's not linear, and things will just happen and appear and be placed in. Oh my God, I got that message. Oh my God, I needed that money for this, and then the amount came in from somewhere. Like I got this child. I realized, I said to my husband, oh, you know, I always try to make sure we're not getting too much of the childcare subsidy thing. And I can't remember what it was, but you know, a few weeks ago after the end of financial year, then we got about $2,000 into our account because we'd slightly overpaid month by month or whatever. And I was like, oh, well, look at that. Like,
yeah. It's beautiful when you're a creator and you let go of it being a particular way, like the how, which I constantly talk to you ladies about, right? Is let go of the how, because the how is when you're in your identity, right? As soon as you try and work out how, then your identity is taking over, your subconscious patterns, and so, you know, when we're in that space of allowing your superconscious to really just give you the obvious next step, then, you know, and those things happen, right? Oh, that came from there. Oh, that came from there. You know, like, absolutely.
Yeah. So it's just that trusting, I think, that getting out of the old structure and the old beliefs and those things that we, like, for 30 something years, that was how I thought things were. Like, that's a big shift to make, and to go, oh, things are completely not that, they're actually this, and I can choose to have that, even if I think, how on earth, like, we don't need to know the how. We just have to be able to have that as a choice and choose it. Like you said,
Yeah.
for no other reason that I want to have that and I'm going to experience it. And it could be something that me, a few years ago as a speech pathologist, would I ever think I would be running my own business with an assistant and 6 feet, like, no.
And by the way, I just remembered one of the things that you put into the Facebook group the other day is that you finished your book.
Oh yeah, that too.
I just remembered.
Yeah.
So what is your book's what's it called? It's
So
intelligent.
it's probably going to be called either Raising Emotionally Intelligent Kids, or How to Raise Emotionally Intelligent Kids, or Becoming an Emotionally Intelligent Parent. So it's all the stuff I speak about and write about, and I also write for different publications and online magazines. I speak at international conferences and summits, and for parenting, for ADHD, for behavior, all of these things that now I'm just in that space, and that is where I remember choosing to be in the space of alongside some of the people that I look up to and who are spreading their message at the worldwide level because of the internet, and me speaking alongside them and on a panel and answering questions, and people are hearing it and wanting to, have me and book me, and just to be in that space where really before I wouldn't have even considered making that choice, that maybe I could have that. It just didn't even occur. Like, stuff doesn't even occur to you until you realize that you have limitless opportunities, and all you need to do is make the choice and then make some other changes in the way we sort of see and think and perceive and
yeah. It's really interesting, isn't it? Because when I tell people that sometimes the women come into the course and it'll be 6 months before they even know what their true choice is, people can't conceive of it because they think that they're making choices, but they're coming from lack. They're coming from a place of, I haven't got this, so I want this. And they don't even know the concept of, I just want to choose chocolate cake today instead of vanilla because I just want the experience of it. Rather than people, it's even getting to that can be a little bit interesting watching that. And so it's been so beautiful, Stephanie, watching you grow and expand, and having these moments, aha moments, and oh my gosh, I'm doing this now, and oh my gosh, I'm doing that now, and it's been a really beautiful experience.
I just think, like, imagine where I would be without this. I might be bubbling along slowly. I could see probably where my income would have been, where my marriage would have been. It's really hard to shoot yourself forward. Like, for people who are considering or thinking about, watching this and thinking, oh, what's this conscious creator? It's very hard to fathom and to put yourself a year down the track or 6 months down the track and conceive of what could be different, with so much in that subconscious old patterning. This is how life is. Oh yeah, I'll go for that job, or I'll whatever, it is just make the choice, I guess. Take the first.
Yeah. Well, and like the whole world is that, right? The whole world is we're problem solving the whole world. So, to actually say, I've got a choice and I can be something more than what I am at the moment is not conducive to what the world's sharing with us, especially at the moment, right?
Yeah.
People can't understand that, at the moment you can thrive, you can increase your income, you can have a beautiful marriage, you can all of these things, like you can have the freedom of choice, all of those things. So thank you so much, Stephanie.
You're welcome.
For coming on, and we will put all of your links in the down the bottom. Actually, if you want to throw them down into Women of Light, and if you're watching on any other channel, just look in the comments and all that sort of stuff. We'll have the information in there for Stephanie. Thank you for being our first member, client. That was fun.
Thank you for allowing me to come on and just talk about, what's happened to me. I know it's a very personal journey, and it's just one person's experience, but that, all the other women in the group are having their own breakthroughs and their own golden nuggets and their own like shocks of, it doesn't matter. Yeah, it doesn't matter who you are, where you are, or even if you think, I don't know what I want to do, well, even more so of, even more so of a reason to step in and see, oh my gosh, the possibilities. Like we just,
yeah, absolutely. In saying that, if anyone's interested, on the 28th of July, 7:30 p.m. Sydney time, we have a free masterclass called Limitless Wealth. And if you want to just have a taster and just find out a little bit more about what, how to create and what it's all about, I'm just throwing the comments here, yes, please. And we'll be able to send you the link to that so that you can find out a little bit about what it means to actually explore this realm, because it's almost completely, it's like opposite to what we're being taught. And it's easy, it's quick, it collapses time, is permanent. There's a lot to clear, but when we do clear it, it's permanent stuff. So yeah, it's a really beautiful process, and a great bunch of women in there, all shining their light, which is awesome.
Thank you.
Take care. Thank you so much, Stephanie, and we'll catch you soon.
Thank you. See ya.